Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, I am Mini Ninjas, and this is my playthrough of Double Dragon Neon on the Double Dragon difficulty, otherwise known as the hardest difficulty. To recap from last time, young Billy finished off the second boss of this game, who quite frankly looks more at home on the older style box art of Mega Man titles, rather than an actual Double Dragon game. With him disposed of, we return to our primary mission, which is to find Skullmageddon. I do believe the Rocket Dojo has seen better days. Billy, on the other hand, looks no worse for wear on his stolen ride.
Nothing like walking the streets of Earth.
A bit more dirt road than street to me, but that's just semantics. And that particular feat, ladies and gentlemen, took a few tries to get done right. As it turns out, I actually had done that on a previous playthrough which I was setting up for the series, only to realize I had forgotten to hit the record button properly, thus wasting my efforts, and the rest of it was actually a pretty decent run. Oh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be quite frank at this point. On this particular stage onward, the game gets noticeably harder. Starting off with the serious shinobi here, Shun. On top of having a pretty decent array of regular attacks as well as a knife she can throw, Shun also happens to have a wake-up attack, which can easily catch you offhand if you're not paying attention while standing around her while she's down. As you can probably guess by the fact I actually get hit by that wake-up attack a few times, it's kind of deceptive how long she's actually on the ground for, or realistically, how short she's on the ground for. Also, that little stance at the beginning of her entrance also can hit you. If you're dealing with only one Shun, it actually isn't that bad, but it's when you start getting 2, 3, or more on the screen at once when things get particularly troublesome, especially with all of them hopping around at once. Also, that entrance stomp might have a little more range than originally anticipated. Well done. If you get to use your invulnerability frames in order to avoid attacks, there's no reason for me not to. So, throwing a foe happens to be a good way in order to dodge an attack which otherwise could have hit you. I should probably mention, on top of being generally annoying and hard to hit with all their hopping, by the time you reach Double Dragon difficulty, they actually have quite a bit of health to deal with. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Boomerang into Double Dragon Neon, a weapon which, if used properly, can keep your opponents in a get-hit state, kind of stun-locked so you can actually be attacked by them, as well as killing them in pretty short order, despite their boosted health values.
They're not dead yet? Make them dead! Use the helicopter! Stop them, you imbeciles!
Well, it seems that the helicopter from Double Dragon 2 has seen a bit of an upgrade, as I really don't remember those missiles being there last time around. Also, this is at least the 5th type of Williams that has been introduced into the game. Fortunately, despite having some added attacks and, of course, boosted health and damage values, this particular Williams is not much smarter than the original Williams. This Ultimate Williams, as he calls himself, honestly isn't really difficult on his own, but once you start actually getting them in larger numbers, it really does get particularly tedious. And with all the missiles that are going around, this is actually a pretty hard segment of the stage. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get serious now. quite sure what these missiles are actually made of, but the fact you can punch and kick them out of the air means that perhaps Skullmageddon should be asking for a refund at this point. As you can probably guess, the marks on the ground indicate where these rockets will start crashing down. And as long as you're not standing on this particular spot and moving along with the waves of the rockets, you can pretty much get through this unharmed with minimal effort. And now we return to the regular fighting portion of our game, aka known as More Williamses. When grouped together like this, the Williamses are actually much easier to deal with because your punches and kicks can attack all of them at once. Once they start to disperse though, then things become a bit more problematic because they can get in ranges where they can dive kick you, as well as throw in their regular punches and kicks. So, if you happen to find a way in order to get them pinned down by the rockets, that's a good way to get a cheap shot or two in.
You fools! This is a rental! Your incompetence baffles me! Retreat!
And now with the escape of the Killercopter, we return to our regular mission format. Alright, time to get the boomerang in hand, and with this, should make pretty short work of this jaunt here. Well, it would make short work as long as you actually have her lined up just right to keep all the hits coming in at once.
Thank you very much.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, you can begin to see why I really love the boomerang in this game. Like I mentioned in earlier episodes of this playthrough, the shops from here on out are actually somewhat hidden, although I use the term hidden very loosely. In this case, all you had to do was go left in order to actually find the shop, and for the most part, the shops will have something actually indicating that there is a shop present and how to get there.
Back to work.
In case you're wondering why I didn't use the opportunity to get an extra life or two, while the game is happy enough to give you some extra lives if you happen to go below the minimum of 2 at the beginning of each stage, it will also subtract any extra lives you happen to purchase from earlier stages, so you can't just grab a bunch from the shop and carry them over. In this particular segment of the stage, you're confronted by a series of Williams of different types, which, even under normal circumstances, aren't exactly too hard except for their number, but your job is actually made a little bit lighter, or if you can actually lure them into the general area of those spring doors there, by standing on the X part, it will actually send whatever's on the other side flying. Much like what I've been doing to a few of these Williamses all along. And a timely soda. Excellent. Oh, that's funny. I don't remember that barrel normally having a 1-up, but I will happily accept it.
I don't think so.
Just a second. This shouldn't be too problematic. I wonder. Perhaps I could have some fun by knocking around with these springboards a bit. Or maybe not.
I don't think so.
Alright, John, if you really insist on not cooperating, alright, let's go this a different route then. Alright, on to plan C. Proceed to the next regular part of the stage. She can catch up eventually. Oh, and that was an unfortunate time to show. Alright, I could definitely use a soda about now, but fortunately there's nothing too dangerous on the screen, so hopefully I should be able to get through without too much problems. Of course, I could be wrong about this. Alright, just one more Ichizumi to go. Alright, that clears that particular wave of enemies. Alright, a Shun and an Abobo. This shouldn't be too problematic, I hope. Let's see, they're about lined. Yes, there we go. And another. And another. And another.
Thank you very much.
And another. Okay, with the Bobo's rather high health totals, this would probably take a little too long to do that way, so let's try to kill him the old-fashioned way. Or perhaps he was low enough, or maybe one or two more would have actually done the job. Oh well. And there goes this particular stage. And clearly at this point the game is definitely picking up in its difficulty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have now officially wrapped up Double Dragon Neon Mission 5 on the Double Dragon difficulty. Join me next time where I'll be going into Mission 6, which is the next boss stage.